Welcome to the Pentecast podcast. My name is Andrew Bella. Alongside me is my good friend Ryan Sellers.
Howdy, howdy, fellas.
And a lot of you are probably wondering why our intro music is different. Well, we got hit with a copyright claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first video that we posted on YouTube, they reached out to me and they said...
Within about 5 seconds.
Milliseconds.
Yeah.
They reached out to me, Ryan, and they said, your intro music is the theme song to the Chicago Bulls intro music.
Which we knew, however.
Well, I mean, I didn't want the church people to know that that's where we got it.
But.
Because I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I thought the intro music, and we can't even play it for you right now, folks, because we're in the middle of a copyright.
Yeah. So if there are any good lawyers in the holiness movement.
We need your help.
Yeah. Patrons, step up.
If you can reach out to me at Andrew at pentecastpodcast.com. If you know a good lawyer. Right now, we've just taken down the video. I am not currently in danger of incarceration. So we're testing out some music that we legally own through a different website, and I have a license. So we want you to buckle up, and we want you to decide. We're going to be throwing some new intro music at you, and we want you to be a part of this journey as long as we can allow you to be. So this is another intro. You ready, Ryan? Let's give him a show.
Fire away, sir.
Yeah, you know what time it is. Monday morning, Pentecast podcast.
I need my rubber boots on.
That's right. Be careful when you get into the car to go to work. There might be a critter under there. Might have a snake slithering around. Might be an alligator. You know where we record this thing. We're down here in South Georgia. Welcome to the Pentecast podcast. What do you think of that?
Well, it's pretty country.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the beginning one better.
Sounds like Duck Dynasty.
Are you vibing today?
This is the polar opposite.
Yeah. It's Monday morning. A lot of you are heading to jobs that you hate. And so are we.
Myself included.
Welcome to the Pentecast podcast. What we want to do is make your life easier, better, in a wicked and tumultuous world. Join me and Ryan in this episode where we tackle the tough questions of life. We're glad you're here. What do you think? Okay.
We definitely have both ends of the spectrum.
Maybe next week we'll have some better music to offer our listeners. This is our first episode
with video.
Yeah. Some folks that we're close to, we send them some mock episodes, right? Kind of to try to get familiar with the video aspect of it. And I guess the way we want to operate is if they aren't in the room as much as we can, although sometimes the laughter might get too great. We have to look. Who knows, right? But I thought that this episode would be a good one for you and I to reflect on how far this thing has came within a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, I often think back to before you even started. You know, I wasn't here first 4 or 5 episodes, but even before that, you know, you were hitting me up. Hey, I want to start a podcast. First of all, you know.
Total failure.
No. My first thought, to be carnal, is, first of all, I don't know anything about a podcast. Second of all, how can you make money doing it? But
well, we figured out neither.
Yeah, sure. But, you know, from my perspective, you know, I listened to the first few episodes. I listened to Jonathan, our great friend, Jonathan Smith. He's been on since I've been apart. But I listened to his episode 3 times. Of course, I knew the story because I lived through it. But I listened to it 3 times and cried 3 times. So
I know it.
And then you had me on foolishly. But
oh man, the camping checklist.
Yeah,
we've got many stories together that are full of laughter.
But you know, from my perspective, it has been incredible.
It's been awesome.
At first, it was a a scheduling conflict. When can we do it? Now we've got a routine, and it's just as much a part of my life as my other two jobs.
Yeah, I know it, and I don't know. I'm thankful to see how it's progressed, not for our sake, but for the listeners.
Yeah.
I have people that don't go to church with me on a regular basis, that never would go to church with me on a regular basis. And this has been such an awesome opportunity for them to be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
It gives people like a tangible thing. And not only that, adding this video is going to be even more tangible, right?
No doubt.
And so it's adding a lot of dynamics that we weren't used to.
Yeah.
Roll in with your T-shirt on and let's record.
That's right.
As long as we have coffee, we can do it. And now I have to make sure that I look this good every time.
I mean, your hat is what's making it right now.
Let me tell you something, and I'm going to look at the camera on this one. I'm not a paid advertiser for Bucky's gas station, but if they would, I would do it for free, which I'm doing that right now. If you live within 500 miles of a Bucky's gas station, it's worth the drive. Matter of fact, I took a dear friend of mine to the airport late Saturday night and drove all the way home.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, I was at Bucky's gas station at 4 o'clock in the morning in Warner Robins, and I got this hat. You want to know why I got this hat?
Tell me.
Because I said, hey,
I'm here.
I'm going to wear it on the podcast. Not only am I going to get a pound of beef jerky, I'm going to get a ham melt. At 4 o'clock in the morning, the place is wrapped up. If that tells you anything about Bucky's gas station, it'll change your life. It's bigger than Billy Graham's Crusades, okay? You need to go check out.
I think they've got like 128 gas pumps, I read.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You should see their drink fountain. It's unreal. It's crazy.
Did you try the beaver nuggets?
No, they weren't making that yet. I had to order, it was like a ham and cheese melt, and it was like $6. And I was like, dude, that is an expensive sandwich.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, it was bigger than a football.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, I literally ate a fatted pig. I almost said fatted calf, but ham is a pig.
You're right.
So, with what we're doing on the podcast, we started to talk a little bit about how we've been reflecting on the goodness of the Lord, what He's done for us. I guess I want to start with a question. If there was one episode, knowing that we have this video, this awesome footage, right? If there was one episode that we could go back and have the video footage of it, which one would it be?
Anything with Brother Neil is going to be
for
powerful. Sure. I don't know. There's been so many, when emotions got raw, I guess you could say, that it would be powerful to see. Video's great. We've got it so that you guys can see how ugly we are and how we really have faces meant for radio, not video.
Yeah, for sure.
But really, and I look forward to having a guest here where we can just forget the camera, and let you guys see what's going on right here around this table.
Yeah, man. I can't wait.
What about you? What's one episode that you wish you could have video on?
Well, I'm going to answer multiple.
Okay.
Number one, I wish we could have done it from the very get-go.
Sure.
Because I think each episode is special.
Yeah, I agree.
And not only that, there's been awesome conversations, just you and I sitting here at this table, that that nobody will fully understand.
That's true.
What was kind of bouncing off me and you, unless there was a camera in the room. One thing that this, going to video footage, one thing that it'll never do is affect our authenticity.
No.
I don't want it to.
No.
And it won't, because we are who we are.
And that's my point about forgetting that they're in the room with us.
Yeah, for sure. But to answer your question, I'm gonna do it in multiple episodes. No episode is greater than the other, in my opinion. There are some that stick out, but for people to come on our podcast to share their heart and their testimony is amazing to me. So I don't want to belittle anybody that has been on. Brother Neil, of course, is just special because he's our hero.
Sure. Yeah.
But the testimonies that come to mind are Jonathan Smith, his testimony. If you could see the passion on Brother John Sewell's face when he's talking about peanut butter and Jesus, it'll make you want to get in a car and go to Tift County and help him. Another episode's our pastor, for one. Brother Jody Silver's coming on early in the podcast.
Sister April Gay.
She's one.
The Spirit of the Holy Ghost coming out
in like in an instant, Ryan. So we see it, and to those that weren't there, it was me, you, Amy, and April. To see when she is talking about what the Lord did for her, it was so refreshing to see. This is so good for her as much as it is for us, because it was replaying. You and I had a pretty awesome experience in Savannah. If we had cameras, shining out, looking at all those kids that were, asking us questions and just participating, that was awesome.
That fed me as much as any episode has.
Yeah, it was really good.
I fed off of that all week long.
That was really, really good. However, even things that weren't even recorded and or on video, people that have come to us after even we left that church, that we kind of get in this role where, we put on the Pentecast podcast hat when we're visiting, and it's, what we're doing is we're kind of interrogating the person, like, what's in there that I'm trying to get out, right?
I know you feel a little dirty for doing that, but it's just your nature now.
Yeah. And so we did that unbeknownst to us, and the person that reached out to you and I both, and the way they approached us by saying, you have no idea what me telling you what God's done for me did for me. Yeah. And so that, I think that's really what this podcast has been about. And so if we are recording these testimonies, recording these experiences that people have, and also sharing my life stories along with your life stories, I think audio only gives half the story.
I agree.
Video, it allows people to see, man, I see when his emotion changed. That pulled on his heartstrings, and I think that it's priceless. It's priceless.
I agree.
So to fill everybody in, we'll tell you what's going on at the podcast as a recap. We have a studio coming. We got the building from Stormore Buildings. I can't even begin to tell you how many amazing, how many things they've done to help us. They've been utterly amazing. I can't even tell you how awesome they've been. Stormore Buildings, if I could put a plug in for eternity, I would. They have just been above and beyond amazing. And so we have the building coming, and then we're going to be furnishing it. And so we're going to be putting up pictures on our social media platform. We're going to put these young guys to work that kind of linger around the studio. The upper room is now going to be the outer room, the outer realm. And so I'm getting kicked out of my house, but that's okay. So we're going to have this awesome decked out studio. Have these cameras in there, have these people coming in from youth camp meeting. That'd Lord willing, awesome. We can get it. I don't think we'll get it done by this year, but hopefully by next year we'll be set up to go. And so we have this going on, but just a recap of what God has done. And I got my computer here because I wanted to write it down. It's kind of a memento as what has happened the last year. Number one, we started in the winter of 2020. Okay, so it's been over a year when we started. So many things have happened within that year that have been a derailment to the focus of the church. The pandemic, the election. There's so many things that I really feel like the devil was using to try to get us off our focus. Not the podcast, but the church in general, Christians. And so I think it was such a timely season for us to get in when we did, because it gave people this outlet to get away from the news, the just the filth of the world. Let's call it like it is. It's just the filth of the world. And they hear things that are not common on their AirPods or on the radios. Wait a minute. God's still working. God's still moving.
That's right.
And we want to do it in a casual approach. We have accomplished that. One of the greatest accomplishments that happened this past year was getting you as a co-host.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I'm telling you.
It's been a tremendous honor.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the greatest accomplishments that I've been able to let you see what was my vision, and you catch a hold of it just as much as I have, and you see the benefit of it.
Absolutely.
You know, my cousin Devin had started a podcast last year, and he even mentioned, he goes, I would love to meet Brother Ryan. People are getting acquainted with you that have never met you before.
I know, and it's odd, when you meet people who you don't know, but they know some element of you.
Because you're opening yourself up every week.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's what I want to be. That's what our goal is here at Pentecast, is to be authentic.
Authentic. I don't want to be fake. It's like when we testify at church, I want to tell people, I have days where I don't want to do things.
Absolutely.
I have days where it stinks, because the only way you can get somewhere with God is when you're honest and when you're transparent. Why would we try to act as if, once we get saved, we can act different? I still need him just as bad as I did before I got saved.
Absolutely.
So adding Ryan to the podcast was a great accomplishment, and you play a vital role. You really do. You play a vital role.
Thank you.
And that's not just me saying that to tickle your ears. One thing we did as well is we built a website, and I think it's a pretty impressive website, if you ask me.
I agree.
And so not only do we publish all of our videos, or our audio, soon to be video, and we publish all of that on our website, www.pentecastpodcast.com. Okay, but now we've added another element to this ministry known as food for thought. Yeah. So people are getting these devotions that people are writing in for us, and they're sharing their feelings, their emotions, their stories. Some can speak. I'm a speaker. Like this is my avenue. Yeah, talking it out, telling people, and you're the same way, Ryan. Maybe talking it out. Yeah. Being a talker. When I give you the opportunity, of course, on the podcast. But some people put it on a pen. Our friend Jonathan Smith is one of the greatest writers. Man. I mean, he sent me text messages and a devotion that he's doing for our men's meeting this week. And I'm just like, man, I wish I had the words that he has. Yeah. So that's another element that we did this year. So you can, check out our website. Look at what we're doing there. I think it's really, really awesome how we've been able to build that. There were several people that asked me, number one, all this right here, we've never begged for any money, and we're never going to, because it's really irrelevant to me, because if somebody didn't give me $1, I was going to do every bit of this that I've already done. Yeah. But there were so many people asking us, how can we donate? How can we help kind of build this thing? Because they caught on to the vision as well. Yeah. And so I said, look, I'll try to find a way. And that's what the Patreon account was. And so we have patrons. We have people that are monthly subscribers, people that that give on a month-to-month basis, which melts my ever-loving heart, because I don't even feel worthy of it. But what they're telling us is, you are blessing me with the content in which you're giving. And so that's something that we added for people that wanted to do something extra. And I think that's so commendable. God loves a cheerful giver. Sure. And so me and you have obviously given to this, and this is not just something that we've donated our time, but also me and Ryan have donated our money, and a lot of thought and prayer goes into this. And so the Patreon account just shows that we're not alone in this. So that, I think that's pretty awesome as well. We've heard so many amazing testimonies and stories of how people have came to us and told us that this has been a blessing. Yeah. With all that said, that's a lot to take in. I think this is going to be our 60th episode. Yeah. That's a lot to take in.
It's a lot of gravity. Mm-hmm. When you think about, we're transparent here. So when you think about day to day, just Ryan now, the struggles that's going on inside of me, the things of life that I'm struggling with, there's more at stake than just me. Not that anybody that listens to the show can't survive without me. That's not what I'm saying.
I couldn't.
But, you've got something to uphold in a sense,
Yeah. It's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah. And I want to get my mind right. When I come in here, I want to get my mind right to realize this isn't about me venting. No. This isn't my boxing ring.
No. And there's some things that stay outside the door.
For sure. And when the red button is hit and it's recording.
Absolutely.
Gloves are off, but there's times that you and I talk before we even air, and we get our minds right, we get our souls right, we get our spirits right. Yep. And most importantly, before we ever start talking, we are drinking coffee, folks.
No doubt.
So, real quick before we end this, with everything that's said as far as where we've come in a year, where would you like to see it at the end of this year?
At the end of this year?
Yeah. What would you like to see done?
I'd love to be in our building, to be set up, to be comfortable in that space.
For sure.
From a logistic standpoint.
Yeah. Not these curtains behind me.
Yeah. From a spiritual standpoint, I'd love for this thing to explode. That's really what I'm looking to happen with the element of video. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for more souls to be touched. I'm looking for us to be able to touch more people in different ways, through the Patreon account, to be able to touch lives.
Yeah, for sure.
If tragedy strikes some family,
that's what we're interested in.
That's what we want to do. We're not looking to get rich, believe it or not.
No, could care less. No, and I've never even shared that online, what we plan on doing, and it's in the very near future. Me and you have talked off the air about what we want to do as far as donating to needy people that we've come in contact with through the podcast. How amazing would that be? And I want the listeners and the viewers I really want you to focus on this because this is really where we want to go with this. How many of us would love to go on a mission trip? We just can't. We don't have time.
Yeah.
We're busy people. I would love to go to the Dominican Republic again with Brother Steve. Just not going to happen because I'm busy. There's several people like that. We want to give. We want to know that we're doing something to advance the kingdom of God, but it's not in our day-to-day lives. We can't take off time to do it. And there's some that can, and they're blessed, and I'm grateful for that. And so I thought of a way. How can we make the ministry more tangible to just everyday people that live their lives, that want to see their money or see their love offering go to a good cause? And so I said, why not the podcast? Why not call these people that we hear that if, calamity struck their home, and live, call them over the phone and let them know that the people that support this podcast wanted to support them, and get their reaction over the phone, or even bring them in on video and present to them the love offering or whatever God lays on the hearts of the people to do. I think it's amazing. I think it's a tangible experience for people to get to see what the ministry is all about. It's not necessarily all about money, but it is about blessing people. And it's like Brother Jim Yeoman said last week on the podcast, it's really hard to tell somebody about Jesus when they ain't have no clothes. It's hard to tell them about the Lord when they're hungry.
That's right.
And so you think about that, how are you helping them? Well, we're blessing them. We're taking a need, and we're taking their lives seriously. And there again, we're creating another testimony / episode where we can share where God moved once again.
Yeah.
God moves through people. We've said that over and over again on this podcast.
It's not for our glory. It's to edify Christ and to edify His people. Their good heart and their giving spirit. That's what we're all about.
That's right. So we hope you've enjoyed this first video episode of the Pentecast podcast. I'm sure it's subject to change over the course of time while we get adjusted. But drop a comment down in our YouTube channel. I'm going to open the comments up. What do you think about our intro music? What do you think about that? You obviously don't want us airing in jail, so the Chicago Bulls intro music and outro music.
It is out.
It is forever gone. So just remember, hey, we love you. We appreciate you.
Over and under.
Goodbye.